Good day, I am Allyssa Bantilan and we're going to talk about drugs for hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism. But first, we need to know what is hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism. Hypothyroidism is a condition in which the thyroid gland is not able to produce enough thyroid hormone. Hyperthyroidism is a condition in which an overactive thyroid gland is producing an excessive amount of thyroid hormones that circulate in the blood. So, this is the biochemical pathway for thyroid hormone synthesis and release. Iodine transport. Iodine transport is a large amount of iodine that is or are required for synthesis of physiological levels of thyroid hormones. To generate sufficient concentrations of iodine, the ionic form of the atom iodide is actively transported from the bloodstream into the follicular lumen by the follicular epithelial cells. Consequently, iodide is highly concentrated in the thyroid gland compared to the rest of the body. Thyroglobulin synthesis. Thyroglobulin is a protein that contains large amounts or numbers of tyrosine amino acids that go on to become individual thyroid hormone molecules. Thyroglobulin is synthesized within the follicular epithelial cell and secreted into the follicular lumen. Thyroid peroxidase. Thyroid peroxidase is an enzyme present in the acellular colloid of the follicular lumen and performs several key reactions. Thyroid peroxidase first generates iodine 2 by oxidizing iodine. Iodine ions present in the follicular lumen. Thyroid peroxidase then organifies the generated iodine 2 by covalently linking it with the tyrosine residues present in thyroglobulin. Next, endocytosis of peroxidase process thyroglobulin. Peroxidase then combines MIT or monoiodotyrosine and DIT or diiodotyrosine residues to generate T4 or T3 species within the thyroglobulin protein, a process termed coupling. So, it is termed as coupling when you combine the MIT and the DIT. T4 is generated by combining two DIT or diiodotyrosine residues, while T3 is generated by combining one DIT or diiodotyrosine. So, importantly, peroxidase is much more efficient at combining of two DIT residues and thus generation of T4 occurs much more readily, explaining why the thyroid gland primarily produces T4 rather than T3. Notably, some MIT and DIT residues do not get coupled, and so peroxidase process thyroglobulin will retain some MIT and DIT residues. So, release of T4 and T3 from thyroglobulin. So, once endocytosed into the follicular epithelial cell, the thyroglobulin is broken down by lysosomes, are then transported out of the follicular epithelial cells and into the circulation. The iodine atoms of MIT and DIT are salvaged and transported back into the follicular lumen as iodine. So, thyroid hormone biosynthesis involves 5 steps. So, this is the synthesis, regulation, and role of T3 and T4. First, iodide trapping. Second, oxidation of iodide and iodination of tyrosine residues. Third, hormone storage in the colloid of the thyroid gland as part of the large thyroglobulin molecule. Fourth, proteolysis and release of hormones. And the last step, conversion of less active prohormone thyroxine to more potent hormone. 3,5,3 triiodothyronine.
Hello everyone, so this is Maria Margarita William II Borden. So I'm here to discuss about the continuation of synthesis, regulation, and role of T3 and T4. T3 and T4 production is regulated by thyroid-stimulating hormone secreted by pituitary gland, which is in turn regulated by thyroxine-releasing hormone secreted by hypothalamus. These hormones play an important role in regulation of your weight, energy levels, internal temperature, skin, hair, nail growth, and more. So I'm going to present to you the different drugs for hypo and hyperthyroidism, their mechanism of action, adverse effects, indication, and contraindication of each drug. So levothyroxine for T4, the mechanism of action is activation of nuclear receptors, results in gene expression with RNA formation and protein synthesis. The adverse effects are the following: angina pectoris, tachycardia, palpitation, arrhythmias, myocardial infarction, dyspnea, anxiety, fatigue. For indication is hypothyroidism, contraindicated with the following: uncorrected adrenal insufficiency, individuals with acute myocardial infarction, acute myocarditis, tonsillitis, active heart arrhythmias, persons with thyrotoxicosis or hyperthyroidism. Second drug is liothyronine, T3. Mechanism of action is activation of nuclear receptors, results in gene expression with RNA formation and protein synthesis.
Adverse effect:
weight loss, nervousness, excessive sweating, sensitive to heat, temporary hair loss, particularly in children during the first months of therapy. For indication, this is for hypothyroidism. Contraindication, this is contraindicated in patients that are diagnosed but yet uncorrected adrenal cortical insufficiency, untreated thyrotoxicosis, and apparent hypersensitivity to any of their active or extraneous constituents. Next drug is methimazole. Inhibit thyroid peroxidase reaction, block iodine organification, inhibit peripheral iodination. For adverse effects, itching, rash, hives, joint pain and swelling, fever, changes in taste, nausea, and vomiting. For indication, this is for hyperthyroidism, and contraindicated with individuals that has condition with low thyroid hormone level, a type of blood disorder with a decrease in all types of blood cells called pancytopenia, anemia, a decrease in blood clotting protein prothrombin, decreased blood platelets, very low levels of granulocytes, a type of white blood cells. Okay. So good day everyone, my name is Angela, I will be continue discussing about the two drugs and the toxicity of thyroxine and anti-thyroid drugs. So the next drug is propylthiouracil. It inhibits thyroid peroxidase reactions and blocks iodine organification. Its adverse effects are itching, rash, hives, joint pain, and swelling, fever, changes in taste, nausea, and vomiting. It is contraindicated in patients who have demonstrated hypersensitivity to the drug or any of the other product components. Next drug is propranolol. It inhibits the beta adrenoreceptors hypothyroid conversion. Its adverse effects are lightheadedness, fatigue, dyspnea upon exertion, bronchospasm, insomnia, impotence, and apathy. It is contraindicated in patients with asthma, COPD, atrioventricular block, permanent claudication, and psychosis. The last drug is radioactive iodine 131I or RI. Its mechanism of action is radiation destruction of thyroid parenchyma. Adverse effects: neck tenderness and swelling, nausea and vomiting, swelling and tenderness of the salivary gland. It is contraindicated in patients with moderate to severe eye disease, suspicious thyroid nodules, pregnancy, or desire to become pregnant in next 12 months. Thyroxine and anti-thyroid drugs major toxicities. A massive thyroxine overdose may be accidentally and unintentionally ingested, most commonly by children and adolescents. It may occur intentionally in young and older adults in an attempt to lose weight with suicidal intentions or for undeclared purposes. Its common effects are nervousness, insomnia, mild elevation of temperature, blood pressure elevation, and loose stools. Rare symptoms include coma, convulsion, and acute psychosis.
Thank you!
Thank you!